We're gonna be reacting to more F1. Last time we was reacting to F1, we reacted to the Australian Grand Prix. And after Australian Grand Prix, they went to Canada. They didn't go to Canada. They went to, where they went? They went to China. They went to China. They went to race. All right, let me find the schedule. I'm looking at Canada. It's in my face, so I'm saying Canada. All right, word. So there was in Australia, and they was racing, and then they went to China, Japan, and now they in Miami, bro. What? So they just finished Miami, and they're about to go to Canada. Okay. So we done did Australia. Feel me? It looked like Antonelli won the China race. Let's have a quick look at the track. What we say about this track? I think we like this track. I think we like this track. I feel like this track is the perfect track for them to really test out their vehicles. You feel me? The boost and everything like that. So they added some new components into the race, into the V's. They done changed the cars significantly from last year, and I think the last time they changed the car significantly was in 2011. You feel me? Because like I'm seeing a lot of past 2011 races, so I'm guessing the vehicles from 2011 and the vehicles this year are similar in that. I don't really know the mechanics of the vehicles in 2011. I don't know if there was half gas, half electricity, and if they had the boost on it. I don't think they had all that. I think it was just like regular engines in a smaller vehicle. For me, word. So this is a track. It's called Shanghai International. I just Shanghai International. There's the starting line right here, straight off a straight, and then a weird circle, yin yang looking type circle. Yeah, looks like a yin yang circle looking type circle. Feel me? So off a straight, boosts have definitely applied. If they really want to get ahead of the other cars, definitely I'm sure they're gonna be using the boost off rip. And in this little yin yang circle, it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle that. I don't think there's any boost for there, but I feel like this is a section right here that could be used to like recharge the battery going into well, this is still sector, going out of sector 1 into turn 5, turn 6 into sector 2 is a little strange. I don't think there's, I felt, I don't know how much you could do right there, bro. I feel like sector 3 and in the beginning of sector 1 is probably where the most overtaking is gonna happen. Sector 6, I'm not exactly sure what you could do there. I feel like you could hold on and build up the battery in your V in sector 2. You feel me? So Shanghai International Circuit is looking like a really good circuit. I'm excited to see how this they did on the circuit, and if there's any more mishaps. If the roster changed from Australia. But as of right now, it seems like Mercedes is still on top, followed by Ferrari. Going into China Grand Prix. So let's go find a bids, you feel me? Let's go find a vids. And let's see what things got going on. Okay, so the first one, extended highlights 2011 Chinese Grand Prix. So I guess this is comparison right here. This is the 2011 race. Very similar cars. Yeah, I feel like it's just the body shape of these cars must be similar, but I don't know if the engine is probably completely different and the boost probably wasn't there. So
Of the 7 previous,
start your engines.
it's a fine day here in Shanghai for the 8th Chinese Grand Prix.
Everybody pulled up.
It was an all Red Bull front row here last year.
Red Bull at P1 and P2. Okay, look, Red Bull is killing it. Last race got them in P1 and P2.
But of course it was a 1-2 for McLaren. at the end of the Grand Prix. Of the 7 previous races here, we've had 7 different winners.
God damn, shit, hot as fuck.
6 of whom are still on the grid this afternoon. There are 7 billion people in the world, but just 24 Grand Prix drivers. They're lined up in the same 200 meters of tarmac for our entertainment. And like bulls, when they see red, they get ready to charge.
Yo, get out with it.
The red lights seem to be on for an eternity. Vettel feels he needs the cover button straight away, and that's why. He's not had a great start. He's moving around like crazy. Button leads the Grand Prix. Hamilton's up the inside. Rosberg's up the inside of Vettel too.
Like all Frib. This is a chaotic mess, man. Let me see if anybody made any like significant progress off Frib. At the
red
start
lights
right
seem to be
here.
on for an eternity.
Boom, right. Everybody's zigzagging, trying to go on the outside, trying to go on the inside to get some space and really hit on that gas pedal, you feel me?
Vettel feels he needs the cover button straight away, and that's why. He's not had a great start. He's moving around like crazy. Button leads the Grand Prix.
All right, so definitely I'm going to go ahead and say 2011 race car drivers ain't had no boost, because although it was a chaotic mess coming out the gate, more or less all the cars was in the same position.
Hamilton's up the inside.
Okay, so this is the what it actually looks like, bro. That's what it actually looks like. I gotta go back because I'm trying to like, because the map on a website don't fully like show you. It's not to scale because they really hit that first turn quick going into the little yin yang circle. So hold on, let me back up. So this is a starting line.
Red lights seem to be on for an eternity. Vettel feels he needs the cover button straight away. And
hold on, bro. Hold on, cause like I'm gonna be mad like if from. Hold on, let me play this.
That's why he's not had a great start. He's moving around like crazy. Button leads the Grand Prix. Hamilton's on the inside. Hamilton's on the inside of Vettel. Vettel will get a better line as they go into turn 3. If he can hang it out there, he's really got to keep position. He does so. Massa right behind. He's outstarted Alonso again. Then it's 2 Force Indias. So Sebastian Vettel, he looked tense on the grid, and that's the worst start we've seen him make for quite some time. As he's still defending, as he's still defending, as he's still defending. Button leads from Hamilton. Rosberg gets a shove off the track.
Oh, let me back up, bro. Cause like for me. All right, so boom, this is on the starting line.
They get ready to charge. The red lights seem to be on for an eternity. Vettel feels he needs the cover button straight away, and that's why. He's not had a great start. He's moving around like crazy. Button leads the Grand Prix. Hamilton's up the inside.
The first turn really comes really freaking quick, though.
Vettel will get a better line as they go into turn 2.
It comes quick. Because I'm looking at the map. It looks like they have some time to get to that first turn. You feel me? So I'm trying to like so if that straight is not really a straight, bro. That straight, I don't know if that straight's really a straight. Because it comes quick, like they just got off the line and immediately they're at the turn already. So I don't know if current year that I mean, I felt like if everybody current year used the boost off rear, there's gonna be a massive pileup before that little yin yang circle.
If he can hang it out there, he's really got to keep position. He does so. Massa right behind. He's outstarted Alonso again. Then it's 2 Force Indias. So
on that outside wide turns, bro.
Sebastian Vettel, he looked tense on the grid, and that's the worst start we've seen him make.
Oh, we got 2 neck and neck right there, fighting for position 3.
for quite some time as he's still defending against Nico Rosberg down into turn.
That's really slow. That's really slow because it really slowed down a lot. Alright, so hold on. Hold on. Boom. Okay, so this is so they entering right now into the circle. You feel me? They entering. It's a really tight circle. But I feel like this is a good position to recharge your battery. It comes up quick though. Oh my gosh.
Rosberg's up the inside of Vettel too. Vettel will get a better line as they go into turn 3 if he can.
I'm trying to look to see if anybody like is passing.
Hang it out there. He's really got to keep position.
Still fighting. Wait, is that the same V's? Was fighting going neck and neck? I think so.
And that's why he's not had a great start. He's moving around like crazy. Button leads the Grand Prix. Hamilton.
That's a 3 neck and neck. And
Up the
drop
inside.
down to 2.
Rosberg's up
He goes
the
on
inside
the
of Vettel
inside.
too.
Still on the inside. Can he
Vettel will get
pass?
a better line as they go into turn 3 if he can hang it out there. He's really got to keep position. He does so. Massa right behind. He's outstarted Alonso.
Nah, he didn't. He didn't. You know, I like this comparison, so you can really see what niggas got going on. You feel me? You can really see what got going on, bro. I'm trying to make sure this like.
Again, then it's 2 Force Indias. So Sebastian Vettel, he looked tense on the
So
grid.
didn't pass him. They're still fighting for it though.
For quite some time, as he's still defending against Nico Rosberg
still
down
neck
into
and
turn
neck.
6. Button leads from Hamilton. Rosberg gets a shove off the track, and now Massa
drop
is
down to
alongside him.
4.
And Alonso fancies a bit of that as well, looking around the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg.
Right.
So it's De Resta up into 7th from Sutil.
Nah, so this track really allows for some maneuvering. I could like first track, not really, because the turns was very sharp. So it's either like you take a position and you try and hold that position. Currently, the boost kind of help you. Feel me? Snatch some position, but it seems like this they really without boost they really like trying to pass each other, like, so they're really trying to pass each other like without boost, and like it seems like it's working without boost. So with boost, bro, oh my god.
Ferrari is 9th. Michael Schumacher straight up to 10th place. Mark Webber's only made 1 place at the moment in 17.
Well, the initial getaway actually was a little bit tardy there from Vettel, and you see he was sighting where Lewis Hamilton was. He'd already given up the fight on Jenson Button, and then that's just about as aggressive as you're going to be allowed to do into that first corner, and he gets pushed wide, and then he'll sense that Rosberg was there, even if he wasn't seeing him in his mirrors. Tiny.
Yeah, look like going into that little yin yang circle, bro. Without boost, it's probably like without boost, bro. This is not without boost for me. So look at neck and neck. We got a 3 neck and neck race all the way in the back right here. Then we have a 2, 3. We can include that one, and they like tailing each other and fighting for 3rd place. We got 2 neck and neck, and so off rip, probably need to get a spot and try and hold on to it going into this little S shape section right here. Probably, no, is this the end of, is that going out of, no, this is probably going out of the end of section 1.
Little mutter hanging off the side of these cars, you'd hear the difference and you'd know that another car was in close proximity. But good driving, great driving from all of these guys.
No, facts, bro. That's tight. That's tight. Lap 2.
That is what it looks like when you get in to the hole behind a car that another Formula 1 car is punching in the air, and Webber makes the corner.
Using that hole as a slingshot.
Against Perez for 16th
going out
place.
wide to push back in.
Lewis is beginning to
oh
catch
shit, what's going on?
It's all going on at the back. And that is Kobayashi. Jensen, and there it's all going.
Swung out wide right there. Look like you're trying to block him to hold that position right there. Seems like a little bit wider than him, using that like dead pocket right in the back of the car. to kind of swim himself on the outside.
Jensen, and there it's all going off at the
And
back.
then using the fact that they got to go back out wide to turn that corner.
And that is Kobayashi.
So he had nothing to do but to slow down, bro. He can't punch it. He had to slow down. He was trying to go back on the inside, but nah, it's cut off.
Al Jaswari,
Switch
Petrov's
position.
right.
This is very like interesting. Just regularly, this is an interesting track. It was a very interesting track. Nah, word. This track is lit. This track is lit, though. This track is lit.
Behind them, then Buemi, then Nick Heidfeld, then Rubens Barrichello, Mark Webber. Jenson Button leads by 1.2 seconds. Hamilton just cannot get in the zone to be able to activate his DRS. That right rear didn't look quite right, unless it was just the painted stripe was not very accurate on that. Look, I said the right rear didn't look good, didn't I, on the way out? So this is the offending wheel making a bid for freedom. And where does that bounce? Oh, look at that.
All right, hold on. So 2011, they had a drag reduction system. It's a driver's controlled Formula One aerodynamic device introduced in 2011 to aid overtaking. It opens a flap near the rear wing, reducing drag to increase top speed by 10 to 30 kilometers on straight, used in designated zones to require a driver to be within 1 second. It requires the driver to be within 1 second of the car ahead. And so they had a DRS system. Do they still have that DRS system applied to their cars right now? Hold on, let me find out. All right, so the DRS system for this year has been replaced by an active aerodynamic system combined with an overtake mode. Instead of just opening a rear flap, drivers will use specialized X mode for low drag on straights and Z mode for high downforce on corners. Overtake assistance will come from increased electrical energy deployment. And so DRS has been replaced by overtake mode. So they have overtake mode. All right, it's saying it's X mode and Z mode. Is that like a button? Is that a button? Now we know what the boost is. I'm trying to figure out exactly what overtake mode is. The boost is just like that button that you click and like the freaking fire comes out the back of your car, and then you get like glued to your seat as your mouth goes like that, and you just boosting. You feel me? Overtake mode, on the other hand, is the energy-based successor to DRS. 2026 regulations eliminated a drag reduction system, replaced it with new mechanism known as overtake mode. This system retains the familiar proximity rule. The driver may activate overtake mode only when he or she is within 1 second of the car ahead. That is designed at a designated detection point. However, the mechanism itself is entirely different from DRS. Instead of opening the rear flap to reduce drag, overtake mode provides a temporary increase in electrical power beyond the standard boost level. This additional deployment gives the pursuing driver a short duration power advantage that assists in completing an overtake maneuver. The overtake mode is proximity based, just like DRS, but it relies on electrical power rather than aerodynamic changes. It integrates with a new hybrid architecture which places far greater emphasis on electrical energy. Furthermore, the overtake mode provides more natural and driver controlled overtake tool that does not rely on artificial drag reduction. Alright, so I feel like both overtake mode and boost relies on the amount of power the battery has. But they do have like open flaps and rear flaps. So I feel like to your advantage, you can still open the flaps, then use overtake mode to give you an extra boost. But I feel like you really have to time that. I think, god damn it, bro. Can I see the freaking goddamn schematics of this shit? Got me fucked up here. I'm over here doing guesswork, bro. So I'm guessing if I'm far behind, I could use my boost, right? But then I'd still have to have a little bit of energy in my battery to then use the overtake mode, which is a higher spike of energy than the boost mode. But that's only designated if you are in 1 second. If the car in front of you is 1 second ahead of you, then you could drive into that dead spot behind the car, open your flaps, and then use the overtake mode. Facts. Right. So we got overtake mode, boost. Overtake mode done replaced DRS from 2011. So they was actively using the DRS to get around the drivers. Then the DRS was solely based on aerodynamics, whereas the overtake mode is based on electrical energy. Okay. But then I feel like you didn't combine the two if you properly use your flaps correctly. So,
Rosberg pitted from 4th place. How will Ferrari react to that? Will they think he's blowing them up, or will they have to come in and also take a stop?
All right, so with that being said, though, them just only relying on DRS, they're doing a good job being neck and neck with each other. And that one pass that I hadn't seen, swing all the way on the outside to go back in, that was pretty good. Straight aerodynamics off that was pretty good. That was interesting as fuck. That was really interesting. Good ass race.
There's Vettel then, and Hamilton's struggling for rear grip as well now. So Vettel, then we saw how good his car was in qualifying. Red Bull still have got the raw pace in that car, they just don't have track position. at the moment. And who will McLaren bring in first? Do you think that's what they're arguing about down there? Why
gotta use that DRS right there.
Look at this then.
Cut him off.
Under pressure, and that's given Jenson Button a little bit of breathing space.
I'm speechless there, Martin, because this is the big decision here. Which one of those McLaren drivers? The team are still in the pit lane, waiting patiently. We've got to presume one of these drivers is coming in, and Lewis is going to be passed here.
That's that
He's
DRS.
defenseless with the DRS open.
That DRS!
Drag strip down to turn 14, approaching 200 miles an hour. Who's last of the late breakers?
Closed it.
Well,
Deuces a drag.
Vettel had the racing line, had track position. We believe it's Jenson Button that's coming in first. We expect him to dive up the pit lane, and so does Vettel. So Hamilton will lead the Grand Prix, but these two are going to come in and get themselves a fresh set of tyres for the undercut.
Off that DRS to put in some more off that DRS.
They don't have too much traffic when they drop back into the racetrack. And look at that, he's in the wrong pit.
He stopped in the wrong box. This is the battle of the teams here. 24 guys working the cars. And crucially, Sebastian Vettel gets away first. That was a terrible mistake there by Jenson Button.
How did he do that?
It's the battle of the team
racetrack. And look at that, he's in the wrong pit. Get themselves a fresh set of tyres for the undercut. If they, crucially though, if they don't have too much traffic when they drop back into the racetrack. And look at that, he's in the wrong pit.
He stopped in the wrong box. This is the battle of the teams here. 24 guys working the cars. And crucially, Sebastian Vettel gets away first. That was a terrible mistake there by Jenson Button.
How did he do that? It's all dressed in blue. Button stopped at the wrong pit lane. That's something I did in my very first test for Tyrrell when I got it all wrong, but traffic not too bad then. That's worked out brilliantly for Vettel. Now, they must pit Hamilton this lap, but if they can get a tremendous outlap, but they've got Heidfeld in the way, who's on old tyres. Rosberg, meanwhile, is fastest man of the Grand Prix on a 43.0. The new tyres give you a serious undercut. Webber's just beaten that down in 17th place. He's done a 142.6. So this is all about, can they clear Nick Heidfeld? The great thing about this higher tyre wear is you don't have the luxury of putting your cars out just when it suits you. And look, this is Jenson, still thinks he's driving for the team that finished first in the championship last year. And
that's a 10 to 12 kilometer boost.
It's like, okay, fill her up, Governor, and clean the screen, please. Oh, I'm at the wrong petrol station.
Darren, the chief mechanic, the lollipop man at Red Bull, was giving him the hands. He was saying, come on, keep going, son. Your garage is over there. The McLaren mechanics didn't know what to make of it. So Jenson Button lost all those seconds there, at least 3 seconds, as he went back onto the power and then had to slow down again.
Okay, so Hamilton's lost out to a Ferrari as well, who pits. So presumably at some point in that lap, Lewis has made a mistake.
All right, so then I don't know how much the overtake mode increases the speed of the car. I know it's a significantly bigger boost than the boost itself. It's on about 10 to 20 kilometers in 2011. Open flap plus overtake mode. Speed gotta be, I guess, a little bit higher than 10, maybe like 40 or something like that. I'm not. If they be passing each other and then passing each other again, though.
Massa then pits before Hamilton, and
we're looking at the sectors, Mark.
Going to the wrong
second sector, so it must
pit
have been
lane
somewhere in that last sector, which we've not seen as yet.
Is that like a Hamilton? What's the rule on that? Did they just unlock a new rule? Because like I feel like when you have to like I would tell to go back to your pit lane, right? Like, right? Like, I mean, I guess they just use one of each of their own tires. Maybe they wanted to try the other race car drivers' tires. You feel me? Maybe it's a different set of tires, or different engineering of the tires that they use, and so they wanted to try out the other person's person's tire, bro. The heck?
Worst case scenario, he can't use them, can he, if he's tucked up behind the Ferrari? What happened to Lewis Hamilton at the end of that in lap? And look, this is important. Vettel then has got ahead of Heidfeld. Button follows him, and they are both ahead of now a very competitive Felipe Massa So Hamilton drops back to 4th place. Heidfeld then is out of position, as we know, because he's yet to stop. He's trying to do a 2-stopper this afternoon and get a bit further into the Grand Prix. Massa will be able to open his rear wing about halfway down this straight, and so presumably will look, he has to get back in. That Renault so fast by itself that he had to get back in the slipstream. Now surely he can open the wing. He does so, but he's quite late on it.
But he gets up
siding up the inside. You have to be so careful in that situation. You're okay on a wise guy like Heidfeld, but often the driver doesn't realise 2 people are passing him instead of.
This is. Oh my gosh, bro! What? Nah, this is a good fucking track right here. This is a good fucking track right here, bro. That first track, I say, testing ground. You know, it's like coming off last season, getting them ready for this season. For me, didn't do too much. They just like test they boost, test that overtake mode slightly, not really. For me, but this track right here, bro. 2011, they doing some work on this freaking track right here.
What's the one? And Alonso pits from the lead then. Where's he going to feed back in? Is he going to be in there with Massa and Hamilton? And we're watching them now. No, he's miles behind. Schumacher's got him, look. Michael Schumacher, who has pitted. That's worked beautifully for him. Rosberg is actually ahead of the lot of them. Rosberg is right out front.
That DRS would come in handy. Like sector 2
and Schumacher
DRS
is going to make it up the inside of Heidfeld. This is for position down into turn 1. Super aggressive driving from Michael Schumacher.
And if Alonso's clever, he'll just slot his car in, and he is indeed.
Turn 1 to turn 4 DRS come in handy.
Still the top 5, only covered 12, by 8 seconds. So the curve goes on.
Now I gotta
and
like put
then
it
down here a little bit further.
Bro.
I mean, Michael's got the fastest car in the race down the straight line. You can feel the car pick up speed as the wing opens. Schumacher knows it's going to happen. So he goes to the inside.
He goes on the inside.
Try to go. Just send one deep up the inside on you.
Well, I wouldn't go around the outside, Fernando. I tried that a few times in Magny-Cours a few years ago.
Didn't quite work.
Michael is very good at defending that position.
Button pits. Presumably he'll know which one it is this time, and he does. It's another set of soft tyres going on. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Rosberg responds to everything, I'd imagine. There's so much going on.
And McLaren are in the pit lane as well, Martin, so we're going to see Rosberg, leader of this race, pitting, and we're also going to see presumably Hamilton coming in this lap.
A little bit slow at the back end, didn't it? Just seemed a touch slow as, well, he's pitted, but still he'll be looking at the back of Schumacher. Can he get out in front of the traffic? And he can indeed.
Nice.
This is done, and he's done it this time. No, he hasn't. Schumacher comes back up the inside. Alonso cuts back underneath. Surely he can get on the throttle so much early. He'll just squeeze Michael out and put back on.
Okay, so this is strange. I would think I would use the DRS like on the other side, just because it's closer to this like really tight turn. This is turn 14 and 15, going into 16 back to the first sector. Feel me? So he pushes. Oh, I'm over here. He pushing out right here. I thought like it would be better to go here, slow down, and you're covered in the, like, you covering the interior of this turn right here, or turn 14. So then he would have no choice but to kind of go wide.
No, he hasn't. Schumacher comes back up the inside. Alonso cuts back.
Okay, so it seems like if you go in, your turn is going to be wider than if you start from the outside to go in. Then your turn cuts more closer to the inside.
Underneath, surely he can get on the throttle so much early. He'll just squeeze Mike.
Is that I feel like that probably was off that turn DRS applied, but they're not really going that fast for DRS to be applied that much. But you feel me? So I think that's just straight off breaking in on the gas pedal.
Out, and unfortunately underneath the grandstands, and Alonso gets the job done, stays out on track, doesn't pit. you don't know where to look next now. There's so much going on. Let's see how this goes.
Perfectly on his mark, so this should be a good one.
Yeah, with it.
So Alonso's only pitted once. Rosberg's got much better tyres on now, and he's a little bit too far back. I wonder if that might have been worth a banzai. But there's a long way to go yet to be getting too much of a Chinese burn by rubbing tyres, and he's coming up the inside. He's got him into, that's how much more traction he had on those fresh tyres. So great move there from Nicola Rosberg.
This tires, the front tires are these, it's tilted in still, but it's not as tilted in as the tires on these new race cars, bro. The tires on these new race cars be fucking with me, bro. I'm like, damn, why the hell is it that much of an angle on these tires for these cars? But this one don't look too bad. Don't too bad. It's, front tires still look kind of straight, but like new tires should be like tilted in like this. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
He takes the place from
That's not how your tire is supposed to
made
sit.
his extra pit stop. So even if Alonso can squeeze through on 2-stop, Rosberg effectively has made up that deficit if he's 3-stopping. So Button then behind Alonso, presumably halfway down the straight. Button's rear wing will open. There it goes, and he should get some mighty speed now. And Alonso will just go to the inside. See, I think Hamilton would just send one up the inside there. I think, and he's just going to out-drag him through the exit. He didn't need to risk it up the inside. Button had it all worked out long before I did, and he was like, okay, whichever way you defend, I'm going to go the other side.
Good stand right there. I thought he was about to go like, thought about to spin out.
Vettel lost half a second to Massa in the first sector, another 0.2 in the middle sector. Massa's closing Vettel down, and they've only done one stop each. Vettel pits, Massa doesn't, I believe. He's gone round, so they're putting hard tyres on Vettel. So Red Bull are now under pressure from Mercedes-Benz, McLaren and Ferrari. Felipe Massa has absolutely come alive in this Grand Prix. Doesn't seem to need...
All right, boom. Okay, so this is a bird's eye view of 2011 race cars right there. Trying to see what changed. Very similar to the new ones. The new ones have like over here have like a what do you call that shit? They have like another component right here that kind of sticks out, kind of like funneling the air from the front tires inside, under, and like to the back of the car. This one doesn't have it. Well, let me pull up a picture. Yo, I wonder if there's like a comparison, bro. What? I mean, 2026 F1 cars. D2 have one for
tyres at the moment, but his times are slow.
God
He's
damn
doing
it,
a 140
motherfucker.
Grand Prix. Doesn't
Alright. So we have, so the car seems like it's smaller in width. The front of the V, it seems like the flaps over here is more streamlined. Seems like there's a lot more happening with this V, the 2011 V, F1 V in the front with the air. They're playing around with the air heavily, but in the 2026 V is very streamlined for me. The wheels right here seems like it's very similar, but it seems like the car is shrunk down in width. My pictures, man. Some good pictures of this V, man. I'm trying to get some pictures of these videos. Oh no, yeah, bro. The front. Oh, ugh, ew, ew, yeah, yeah. Nah, I look nasty, bro. Front of the 20 from the front of the 2011 F1 cars look nasty as hell, bro. She look nasty, bro. She look nasty. All right, so this is a 2011. This is a 20. All right, so boom. All right, so to 26. All right, so there's a big difference. So I don't know. All right, so from what I'm seeing right now, so the front of the 2011, the front of it, like the nose, it seems like it's raised up and the flaps are lower to the ground. So the front of this is very raised up. On the 2026, it's not. The nose is connected to the flaps, whereas the 2011, like the nose is up here and there's like two bars holding it down, and the flaps is like, for me, the flaps is like on the bottom. So they were definitely, I think, playing more around with the wind on the front of the cars than like in 2011. 2026 is more streamlined, so it's very more streamlined. Boom, here it's like there's a bunch of happenings happening in the front of the V for me. So word. So the tires, this section very similar, and basically in this middle section right here, they have like a little component probably to catch the air, keep it close to the body of the car. And then the back seems very similar. Word. And I feel like major difference, probably 2011 Vs were like more heavily reliant on gas, where this one is more hybrid.
seem to need tyres at the moment, but his times are slow. He's doing a 1:43.3. Hamilton's just done another 1 minute 40.7, and he's right on the tail of Button now. So the two McLarens are line astern. Hamilton is flying. Out comes Sebastian Vettel, well behind the McLaren. Schumacher and Webber in close company with Vitaly Petrov. And
bro. It's very interesting because like these V's be looking very similar. But like what you realize, nah, bro, these V's is very different, bro. I'm only talking about some 11 V's, 2011, 2026 V's, very similar. Nah, bro, they're not similar at all, bro. They're completely fucking different, bro.
Cars, all the cars seem to be fighting all the other cars. It's going off all the way down the field. Tremendous. Michael Schumacher with a beautiful move on Petrov, and Mark Webber. He's going to be out on the marbles out there, isn't he? Has he got any grip?
Can I stand in front and look at the front of these cars? Yo, I don't know the hell design the front of these cars, bro. It looks fucking hideous, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Looks hideous. I'm weak.
No.
Brave stuff, but it hasn't worked out. But Mark knew he had to try and clear Petrov. Michael's racing there was fantastic, pulling that move around the outside into 6.
Clean as you like, wasn't it? Hot knife through butter. Rosberg was only half second adrift of him at that point when they came in, Button and Hamilton.
God damn, bro. Holy shit. What? Nah, bro, that's Liddy at the same time, though, but, like, nah, bro, that's a completely different fucking vehicle, bro.
New set of hard tyres, so that suggests to me he expects to go to the end of the Grand Prix, another 22 laps, including 23, actually, including his out lap.
Ugh.
This is costing Mark a great deal of time, because the Renault is, the Lotus Renault in front of the Red Bull Renault is significantly faster on a straight line.
But
Mark's quicker in the corners, and this is his chance. He has to make this stick, and in the end,
Petrov yielded.
It's probably a lot of lift
for him, and then locks up for good measure. He's got a bit of a balance problem there.
There's a lot of lift. It's like, I feel like it's split, bro, because like they're trying to keep it down but like light in the front at the same time.
Still fractionally ahead of Hamilton. And they are ahead then of Vettel by about 13 seconds. But we know they've got to stop again. Does Vettel have to stop again? And how fast is he on the tyres? He did a 42.2 on his first flying lap. He's currently on a slightly better middle sector, and that's a second a lap slower than the McLarens and Rosberg. So at that pace, it's not enough, is it? The 3-stopper will work as Hamilton shapes up for a look at Button. Oh, I talked about the ferocious battle for dominance and supremacy within the McLaren team, and here we are moving into lap 35, lap 36 now, and that's exactly what we've got. And he's got a tremendous slipstream down the pit straight, and Hamilton fancies a look up the inside into turn 1, and Button had to give him some space. Hamilton had to. Beautiful move on Jenson Button.
Can hold on to it?
Will be frustrated with that. Hamilton got a better drive out of the last corner. A nice slipstream down the pit straight, no rear wing working there. It's not on the pit straight as it has been in the first 2 Grand Prix, and I'm a little bit surprised Jenson didn't just turn in, if I'm honest. And there we go then, look at there's a beautiful slipstream, and Jenson sort of leaves him the path, doesn't he? I don't think Jenson recognised it was coming at him, and Jenson had a little moment, a little wobble on the way into turn 1. So it's almost, see, Jenson should have been seriously right there. He just didn't expect his teammate to be, look, he had to turn out of the corner.
Try to throw him off balance right there. Ugh, that dirty ass air, bro.
Webber then. That's Mark Webber on Michael Schumacher. Where is Michael Schumacher? Webber didn't quite get the undercut right because he went deep himself. So Schumacher, good defence. Button then leaves the pits on what looks like a brand new set of hard tyres that should get him to the end of the Grand Prix. It's a question of how far and how fast Sebastian Vettel will be. And he exits the pit ahead of Michael Schumacher and Mark Webber. Webber's still on the softer tyres now. He's gone through the hard tyre phase at the beginning of the Grand Prix. Webber runs a little bit wide in turn 2 there. Schumacher's still got Webber in very
oh my God, look how dirty this freaking track is. Why the hell is it so dirty in it?
Schumacher's still got Webber.
Ew, bro, look at how dirty this track is, bro. Why the hell is this track so dirty? Why ain't nobody clean the track up? I'm talking about, bro, like, yo, this is the Prix of the track, man. How you expect me to race some of the best level of my ability when I got rocks and shit sitting on the track? Like, damn, bro, look at that shit.
In very close company, and it is for Hamilton then, so he pits immediately after.
I demand a re-race, bro.
And Webber, he's the man going up the...
Look at the air. That's like brown. That's not even like gray. It's just like, it's just brown.
So that for me is the only way to pass Michael Schumacher, as long as you can stop when you get there. So there's Hamilton then on a new set of hard tyres. He was so proud of the tyres he'd saved for the Grand Prix when he spoke.
Oh, that's how it's supposed to sit. That's how it's supposed to sit. I thought it was like I'm so used to looking at it like this. That's how it sits. Like, that looks like a 4. Okay.
After qualifying yesterday.
And that gets him out in front of his team.
So that's the starting position. Word. That's the pit lane right there, right next to starting position. Coming up that turn 14, 13, 14, 15, going up, really tight turn. That's that turn right here. Boom, right here. This turn is right there. Tight freaking turn. They got to go wide to come back in, but it puts them in a good position because if they really want to stop, they're going to the side of the pit. But if they kind of keep going, they go, you feel me? But and they're coming out right here is the starting. This is a straight. So this is the, so if this is the starting right here, and this is a straight I'm looking at, this is the straight. That this turn comes up quick. God damn. It's a fast straight. It's a really fast freaking straight, bro. Damn. No, so this is the entrance of the pit, and then this is the pit. So black section must be the pit, because as soon as you go out, you're going right into the yin yang little circle right here. So pit, that's a fast freaking straight. So really, only way that you would get some type of boost on this straight is if you coming out of a turn 16. Off rip, I don't know. Maybe overtake mode might help here, but a boost, I don't know, because if you're boosting immediately, then there's gonna be a massive pile up right here.
Sorry, Martin, I just saw it.
Well spotted, David. Yeah, and ahead of Webber and Schumacher. Surely Webber, will Webber get to the end of the Grand Prix? And Schumacher fancies a bit of a half-hearted move up the inside there to try it as almost a distraction rather than anything else, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a remember me.
As Nico Rosberg pits from the lead. So on it goes.
Yeah.
It's okay, didn't it? Not super fast. And it's not going to do it. There goes Vettel. And Massa. And Hamilton.
Damn.
And just in front of Lewis Hamilton. Rosberg then, with a fresher set of tyres. He's got less distance to travel to the end of the
I feel like the thing is that this track, that's what I was saying, like this track, I know I like this, even though this track is making them like, I be seeing some neck and neck like races going on this track due to the design of this track. Mostly I feel like if you're racing a ghost car, you'd be trying to keep up with your ghost car, and you're the best possible opportunity that you probably could get of passing your ghost car if you're sticking like closely to the same path that your ghost car is sticking to. Because if you go out of that route, because the rest of the track hasn't been used up, that's why if you're looking over top at this track, you can see the sections where the drivers are utilizing and the sections where the drivers are not utilizing. And I feel like even though you're trying to pass, unless you're passing in the designated areas that the DRS is supposed to be allowed, but if you're not using that section, you're trying to pass at another section, you're going to have a very hard time, because that section of the track hasn't been utilized as much as the designated area sections and the sections that is best optimal for you to win the race. You feel me? But I feel like this year though, that whole thing is get thrown out the window, and we going feel me?
Prix, and they're nice and warm from the blankets. So all he's got to do is just keep that Mercedes in the right part of the racetrack. Hamilton's best shot is in the braking zone for turn 6, isn't it? While Rosberg finds out what he's now got underneath him. And that's exactly what Lewis thinks as well. But Rosberg saw it coming and closes the apex. As we see, I think it's a Williams, isn't it, getting right into the mix there.
And that's an opportunity for Hamilton.
It's like that circle's a little daunting to me,
getting
bro.
right in the mix. And
if you're not tight right there in the circle, like, you could lose so many positions. Like, you lose so many, like, you could like drop down probably like 6 positions.
Every 4 laps of fuel costs you about 0.4 of a second per lap, so every lap's a 10th of a second. So they fuel the cars light, and Mercedes are having to go into fuel management. And Hamilton will flick up the inside, and Rosberg gives him the way. And well, he just opened the door, didn't he? Hamilton's through. Button then is still looking on. Maldonado is out of position. He releases Jenson Button, as he should do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is exact.
Maldonado is.
This is like, I was reiterating before. You feel me? I feel like if you were to pass in the section, it might not suit you to do that. You might have to hold off on it and wait till another section. But
is out of position.
This
he
year,
releases
I'm not exactly
Button,
sure if that's
as
the
he
case.
should do. So Button then, now the next man to line up, Nico Rosberg, and I think the Mercedes pit wall will not have enjoyed that moment of Hamilton coming through. So the big story now for me is, can Vettel and Massa get to the end of the race in a competitive state with the tyres that they've got on?
This 3-stop strategy is coming into its own. Difficult to imagine that Felipe Massa is going to be able to defend much beyond this corner by the looks of it. In fact, well, didn't pay off there in turn 16, but there is one thing that's quite clear: Lewis Hamilton is coming past.
It's second place then for Lewis Hamilton as he gets past Felipe Massa. Hamilton's tyres are 6 laps younger than those on Vettel's Red Bull. So Rosberg gone too deep. Let Massa through, and Button.
Shit.
And so look, Rosberg passes Massa because he was behind him, and then it's just gone way too deep into the turn 14 hairpin, and the pair of them scoot past. So Sutil then takes that wide line in, and Perez clean up the inside.
What happened?
Takes that wide line in.
Oh, that's a collision.
So Sutil then
blind spot.
Takes that wide line in, and Perez just slithers clean up the inside.
Damn, took both of them out the race.
Sebastian, I cannot hear you, but you've got to stay out,
So Rocky then, Guillaume Roquelin,
trying to swing.
His driver was asking for tyres, and Massa under pressure from Rosberg. That's for 4th place. So Button has cleared them now. Button up into 3rd place. Felipe Massa really struggling. He's 2-stop 2, so it gives you an idea of the lack of grip that Vettel has as well. 2 stops is the wrong way to go for this Grand Prix. Look at Hamilton. This would be for the lead. And Vettel has to go defensive. Hamilton had the wing open, which he was allowed to do. Hamilton will get tremendous drive off the hairpin. Vettel's up the inside, though. He's got the inside line for the final corner. And he just leaves Hamilton enough space, but no more. And Hamilton then slow on the throttle out of the corner necessarily, but he's in the slipstream. This is where he passed his teammate down into turn 1. Vettel looking more in his mirrors than he is ahead. It's only a matter of time, surely, before Lewis Hamilton passes Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel is clearly not going to make it easy.
Holding on.
And this then is where Rosberg made it past Felipe Massa.
Damn.
So Massa's down into 5th place, Rosberg up to 4th. Hamilton's still struggling a bit off that turn 13, isn't he? But now he gets into his stride. He's in the slipstream. The rear wing is open. Traffic ahead. It's quite a long way down the road. And Vettel, I thought Hamilton might go up the inside of him there, but now Vettel's got to just go so slow on the apex. That's what he's got to do. He's just got to stop Lewis getting on the throttle. He's exactly what he did.
He's not using KERS, Martin.
hasn't got any of it left, has he? You're right, he's got it almost a full charge left. That was brilliant there from Vettel. He just parked on the apex. I'm not going to let you go on the throttle faster than me. I'll slow us both down. But they didn't. Yes, they're only now 6 seconds clear of Button. If these pairs squabble too much longer, Button will be with them well. Massa now just 2.3 seconds. Webber's past Massa. Webber's up to 5th. Felipe Massa down to 6th. Webber only 2 seconds behind Rosberg, the 4th place man, who's only 2.5 behind Button. Webber is flying at them. This then is for the lead. And it's starting to get pretty narrow now, David, with all the discarded rubber. And he's looking up the inside. He's
shit.
Hamilton takes the lead.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely brilliant. And he's looking up. And it's starting to get pretty narrow now, David, with all the
Damn. Barely past them.
Discarded rubber, and he's looking up the inside. He's through.
Inside.
Hamilton takes the lead.
Slowed down a little
Absolutely
too much.
Brilliant on lap 52. He's got so much more grip, poise, and confidence through there. And in the end, it was comfortable. It's now a question of whether Vettel can stay ahead of Button and Rosberg, and even Mark Webber, his teammate, who started 18th. Rosberg and Webber. You know what? They're both catching. They're both catching Jenson Button. You can see it there for yourselves. If Webber can clear Rosberg quickly and now, and look at that, he's up the inside. Can he slow it down? Yes, he can just about get it into the corner, and now he's got a decent run out. Rosberg can curse him down there, but Webber's got the inside line. It's very dirty there. He's made it work. That has released Mark Webber. Can he turn that in the dying moments of this Grand Prix into a sensational podium position? Look at that, he's going to get the wing. He doesn't have the curves, so he'll lose out in the first part of the straight. He's got to somehow stay there. He's got so much more grip. Now the McLaren will just punch away from him with the curves. They'll just squeeze away from him a little bit. There it goes, and then the wing will kick in. I think that's just happened now, and he's now got exactly what he needs. He's got all the tools available to take a sensational 3rd place away from Jenson Button. And Webber has got enough grip to go straight around the outside there, and they're so close together. Button's not giving up easily. He just wants Webber to have such a tight entry to the last corner, and it doesn't matter. Webber's not falling for that one. Button then has to yield. He started on the 2nd row of the grid. He had problems going to the grid. He was so happy he saved extra tyres for the race. It's paid dividends. Lewis Hamilton brilliantly wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Vettel somehow salvages 2nd.
God
Mark
damn.
Webber, after a stunning performance,
Putting the work in the last final laps for that.
His arm goes in the air, and rightly so. Button, a dejected 4th, I suspect, as we then see Nico Rosberg 5th. Felipe Massa, solid drive up into 6th place. Alonso is a long way behind, another 15 seconds. And Alonso's got Michael Schumacher for company. They've been at it all afternoon, but there's some way behind the lead. There's a half a minute adrift. Schumacher 8th and some points. Both Mercedes in the points, which is important for them. And it's champagne time. Hamilton brilliantly wins from the championship leader, reigning world champion Sebastian Vettel, and Mark Webber somehow, amazingly, with incredible pace, joins them on the podium to share the champagne here in Shanghai.
The pit stops were fantastic, which was good for us. You know, I think the guys are always pushing to improve, and the car felt great. And I think it was just a real, you know, just trying to nurse my tyres whilst trying to pick up pace. And it was one of the best races I've experienced, where at least this year, where you know, guys are out in front of me and had to do quite a lot of overtaking. But real thumbs up to the guys back at the factory and in the garage. They really put their hearts into developing the car and making the car the best it can be every weekend, and it feels amazing to be able to bring it home and bring home a victory for them.
Now that pass was lit as fuck. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That pass right there. That pass was lit as fuck.